This is your macroeconomics video on sticky price theory. So our second theory as to why the short-run aggregate supply line is upward sloping is called sticky price theory. And in this one, we're talking about why the prices of all goods and services don't increase or decrease at the same rate at the same time. So the vertical axis we call price level, and that's based on CPI, which is the general level of consumer prices in the country. It's kind of like an average. But we know that all prices don't rise at the same rate. So gasoline can rise at a higher rate than food products or your rent. Now, one of the reasons why prices don't all change at the same time is because all businesses have varying degrees of what's referred to as menu costs. And this is the cost it takes to actually change your prices. So if you imagine the business is a restaurant, the menu is where you advertise the price of the product that you're selling to your customers. So if you wanted to, let's say, raise the price of the meals that you're selling at your restaurant, the business has to incur a cost to do that. They would have to redesign new menus. They would have to have them printed and shipped. They would then also have to train their employees on the new prices that they're selling to customers. So if you want to raise prices and therefore make more revenue for your business, you have to incur costs to do that. And so a business wants to make sure that the prices are going up by a rate that would at least cover the cost of the changing of the prices. It's always easier for a business to put things on sale or cut prices than it is to raise prices. For example, if you were to take a Target store and if you wanted to, let's say, raise every price of every good in the Target store currently, that would be very expensive. You would have to take off the old prices. You have to print new price tags. You'd have to make sure that every single item had a correct price tag on it, and that when you went up to the checkout, that it rang up properly in the computer. If you want to put things on sale, you can just put a new sticker right on top that says 15% off or some new price, or you can just put everything on a rack that says everything on this rack is 20% off. And then you just have to adjust, some of the coding in your computer so that the registers ring it up. You can't really do that when you're raising prices because people would just obviously take off the higher price sticker and go up to the register with the lower sticker there. So firms are always more eager to put things on discount than they are to raise prices because of high menu costs. Now, not all firms have menu costs. Some have extremely high menu costs and some have little to none at all. So for example, let's say the Federal Reserve Bank decides to increase the money supply, and in the long run, that will cause price levels to go up because there's more money in the system for people to spend. Now, in the short run, firms that have no menu costs can raise their price level right along with the general level of prices, and they can be receiving higher revenues immediately. But firms that have really high menu costs have to determine if the increase in price level is going to be worth it for them to incur the menu costs and still make money once that's completed. So firms with high menu costs wait a little while. They want to make sure that price level is going up and it's going to stay going up so that they can pay for the menu costs. So in the meantime, their prices are relatively lower compared to the firms who immediately raise their prices. Now, if you have lower prices compared to your competitors, then you might see a higher demand in the short run for your particular products, which would, of course, increase the amount of sales that you have and possibly the amount of employees you're paying. So as price levels go up, it's associated with a higher output of real GDP and is also explaining why short-run aggregate supply is upward sloping. So just like we were talking about, this upward sloping short-run aggregate supply line can also shift to the right or to the left. So for example, this is our price level at equilibrium, which is also our expected level of prices. And that's where businesses assume they're going to be selling their products at. So they set the salaries and the number of workers they're hiring to that level. Now, if something happens and price levels rise, now suddenly, in the long run, you are going to have to pay your workers more. You can, in the short run, of course, keep nominal wages the same while price levels go up, but you can't do that over time. If people aren't making a lot of money, they can't buy high-priced goods. So a firm is either going to have to raise their workers' wages with their profits, or they're going to have to cut their price back down so that low-wage workers can afford to purchase their products. If they decide to give their workers a raise in the long run, that would decrease supply because now you are paying more for your labor, which is an input cost. That would decrease supply, shifting it to the left in this case to meet us back up at our long run line.